Hello everyone. Hello, and this is my assignment on 4.2 with 4.2. So in this assignment, I is focused on the answer focus approach. I started with the simplest possible question I could ask, and this is the question. It is a hello world practice, and as you can see in the question here, it says, what does hello world look like as a single row of data in SQL Server? This statement is intentionally as simple as possible. It has one focus, that is to produce the text hello world as a result set and no extra condition attached to it. So I am there's nothing to execute yet. This step is just about writing the question down clearly before touching any code. So that's what this step is all about. Now, the step 2 of the second file we have here. I begin in this step here. I am thinking through my approach before writing real SQL. I noted the SQL Server can return literal text without needing any table at all. So what I think the next logical step is, write a single select statement that returns the text hello world as a column called greeting. That becomes my step 3. That is the so nothing also in this one, there is nothing to execute here either. This is just the planning. So the next one is this step 3. This is the ad hoc query. So I'll execute it now. You see here. So when executed, my first reworking query, this is my first working query, is a simple select statement that returns the hello world. As you are seeing, it's just select statement, select hello world as greeting, it return it. So this proves my step 1 question can actually be answered. That's what this proves here. So my next one is the step 4. The step 4 is the view, is the 5-4 step 4. So let's execute and see what it has. As you can see here, step 4 turns that same query into a view. It turned that same query into a view, which is sorting to VW underscore hello world. A view doesn't store any data itself. It stores the query definition. So every time I run it, it pulls the fresh result using that same logic. I name it to match the table it will produce. That is the VW for view, a hello world for the topic. So that is what it returns. VW for an hello world for the topic. So that is what I have there for that. Right, now I move on to step 5.1. I will just execute before I say anything here. As you can see, this step 5.1 turn the view into a table using the select into command. The table hello world is named to mirror the hello world, so the source is obvious just from reading the names. So that's what is step. If object underscore id hello world is not known, if it's not known, then drop table dbo. So we have the result here. So what select into this actually select into this one copies the current result of the view into a brand new table called the table, as you can see there, hello world. Right now it has no primary key or constraint yet. It's just a rough first draft. Now the next one, I'll just bring it up, is the sixth file, which I table 5.2, the sixth file here. So in this one here, this table is a refining table. I dropped it and recreated it properly, this time adding an identity column as a primary key and not a non-constraint. with a default value on the gluten column. This is the difference between the quick draft table and the table I would actually trust going forward. So the quick draft table and the one I would trust. So this is what I'm talking about here. Refine the architecture, the table architecture. Add a real primary key, a not known constraints, and default value, and creates the table so it can be rerun safely. So I go to the next step, step 6. The step 6 is the uh, loading table. The step is load the table. So let me execute. When it is run, so step 6 loads the table, like I said, from the view using the truncate and insert. Truncating actually means I can rerun this script anytime without ending up with duplicate rows. So this is what keeps the whole process repeatable. So keep the whole process repeatable. It truncates, building up the duplicate rows on every run. So that is what keeps it repeatable. Just keep repeating that process. Okay, this is my step 7, the H file for H file or the H script. This is actually the stored procedure. The purpose is to turn the uh, adult load script into procedure. So the stored procedure is procedure live inside the database, so they get to they get the same backup and security coverage as the rest of the um, database objects. That's the we have been using this database object here that we have been using in our database. So that is a function of the I'm referring to this database here. As you can see there. So step 7, this step actually wraps up the exact. Let me run before I say it is complete successfully and complete time is stated there. So this process wraps that exact load logic inside a stored procedure called the USP underscore load hello world. Since the stored procedures live inside the database itself, they get the same backup and security, like I said earlier, as everything else in the database objects, the this one here. Now, instead of copying and pasting that load script every time, I can just call this procedure by name. So that is the purpose of this particular one. And the last one is the step 8, the night file script. So like we have it here, it is the calling procedure. That is the stored procedure. This is the final step. In a real ETL process, this is the line job scheduler would call. So let's execute and see what we have here. You can see there. Now step is the final step. Like I said, just calling the stop procedure with the command exec for execute, exec here. This is the line that a real scheduler job or ETL process will call in production. You can see the table. The table came back populated with hello world. That's it there. Hello world ID, hello world, proving the entire chain worked end to end from a question all the way to a reusable, callable process. So with this, I have moved from a simple question through to a callable stored procedure, and I use this exact same method on my 2 other communities data sets as well. The other 2 communities I have, I use them there. So these are my other 2 communities, community 1 and community 2. That was what I referred to when I mentioned 2 communities. Thank you and bye.